Hello guys, welcome back. Yes, I know a lot of videos in one day, but there's a method to my madness, kind of. Dear Lord. Um, as you know, I was working with the Greek gods, and then Odin made a push for having only Norse gods. And because I love Odin, and I wish to serve him to the best of my ability, I gave him his way, even though it wasn't really something I was happy about. And I've been getting little pings from the Greek gods of, we're still here, nobody's mad at you, we understand why you're doing this, you're trying to honor your god. And as I said, at least in my experience, some gods learn certain titles mean something to them, and they're not doing it to be cruel, but if that's a title you want to hear, they'll pick it up. Now, it doesn't mean that, like, if you are, say, a god spouse, or you have a patron god or something, they don't mean it. But it does mean that sometimes they will pick that word up if it's to their advantage, especially if we're talking about Odin. Now, I love the Allfather, and we can tend to have a view of him as this perfect, unchanging god sitting on his throne, all wisdom and everything. He's also a god of lies. He's also a bell worker, and we have to remember this. When you love a god, it's damaging to only try to see one aspect. Especially if you're working with another aspect, just turning a blind eye to that aspect is going to hurt you in the end. And as soon as I started worshiping Lord Apollo this morning, I did do worship for him, I had an insight. A lot of what was Apollo was Odin trying to get Odin's way. Now, Odin, I love him very much, but I know he's very greedy. He's very ambitious. And this isn't me having a flawed view of my god. Odin is a very greedy, ambitious god, and he can lie faster and better than Loki can. And he can spin illusions faster and better than Loki can because they're both almost identical in how they can work you over. And Loki will go right along if it's to Loki's advantage. Loki loves us to the moon and back, but if he can get something to his advantage, he's going to go for it. And I thought about all the stuff I'd read about Odin, and I was like not wanting to hear it. And this was written by people who served Odin for decades, and I'm like, he worked me over, and he worked me over good. He hustled me, he took everything out of my pockets, and he left me in an alley somewhere, metaphorically speaking. And I cried to Lord Apollo, and I knew I had no business calling to Apollo, especially after I let Odin take over everything and let the Norse gods take over everything, but Apollo was very forgiving. He understood. And he makes Odin in this house with me very nervous because he's the god of truth. If you're going to lie, he's going to make you very nervous because he's going to catch your lie. He's going to know you're lying. And he's going to eventually reveal it. Maybe not instantly. Maybe he'll let you get away with it a while. But if you start working with Apollo, you'll find out you start getting caught in all your lies. So you'll go make an offering to Hermes, right? You'll be like, Lord, you're the god of liars and thieves. Have I angered you? And they'll be like, Apollo just took special attention in you, you lucky thing. Hold on 1 second. Heard my mail come in. Oh, I got a letter from my friend, so Apollo's perfect timing, Lord Hermes as well. And it's also a trickster thing, guys. Odin's very much a trickster. Loki's very much a trickster. No, they can love us very deeply. But if a trickster can get something to their advantage, they will. And they both were apologizing last night because I get to that point of hysterical laughter. You know when you're so done, you start laughing hysterically. And posting things on Pinterest because you're just so done. Ha ha ha. And they knew. They had pushed way too far. They were both trying to apologize and cuddle up to me. And sometimes the trickster literally cannot help themselves. It's in their divine and holy nature, but you can get hurt. And I still had enough of them both this morning. I love them. And Odin was trying to be all, I'm so sorry, my dear, da da da, we're still all Norse household, right? And I just looked at him and I'm like, you know what? I let you go too far. I do this repeatedly, and if you keep doing it repeatedly, Odin will keep taking advantage. I love him. I do. I love all my gods. And I came to this realization that none of my gods had left. They just pulled back their energy. They were like, okay, if you want to do this thing, if you want to try to do what you feel is the right thing, you go ahead and do it, but we're not going to abandon you because we know what would actually happen to you. And I've been getting all these raven and mouse symbols. I knew it was Apollo calling to me, and I was like, it can't be. I gave my oath to Odin. I'm going to just serve the Norse gods. I'm not happy about this. But the moment I set up the stuff for Apollo, I could see more clearly. It's not like he gave me super secret knowledge, but Apollo can unlock what we already know sometimes. Like, I knew a lot of the Norse gods were just trotting out because Papa Odin snapped his fingers and they were like, fine, whatever. It's not that they don't love us. It's not that they don't love me. It's just that we're naturally never going to work intensely together unless Odin's scruffing us both and going, here, work together. And the moment I called on Apollo, I was crying to Dionysus, because remember, he was supposed to be my patron. They both had pity on me. And they didn't have to. They did not have to. And none of the gods have to have pity on us when we do bad stuff. It's to their grace and to their glory as gods that they're merciful to us. I had absolutely no reason to expect mercy from Apollo. And Apollo he came in, and Dionysus came in. The rest of the gods have resettled, and it was like instantaneous. And Apollo's like, you're having panic attacks, and you're not well, my dear, because you tried to be something you're not. And Apollo's first maxim is to know yourself. And you have to truly know yourself, not reinvent yourself because you're trying to impress someone you love. And we can do that with our gods just as we do it with people. You know, like you fall in love with someone and they only like you a certain way, so you start to redo your hair and the way you dress and the people you hang out with and the music you listen to. Pretty soon you're not you at all. You're this character you started to play to impress the gods. Or impress the person rather, but you know, it goes for the gods as well. And I was starting to become very much this all Norse thing, which doesn't even make sense because I would always try to like go towards a Germanic path, and Loki keeps dragging me back. And Apollo's like, look at you, you're being really aggressive, you're really off kilter, and you're having anxiety attacks and all this other stuff and all these extremes because you're not on an even kill. We need to get you back on an even kill. And again, he wasn't mad. I'm going to punish you because you walked away and because you let Odin take over everything. The gods know the other gods very well. Apollo's well aware of Odin's trickery. And Odin, in a very strange way, was only showing me, yes, I'm a god of trickery, treachery, and lies. I will go back on my oath. I will break my oath to my kin, and I will stab you in the back occasionally, but I still love you at the end of the day. I swear, that's just how I am. So, it was interesting. Luckily, there's a god spouse, even though they hate the term of Apollo out there, that wrote some good articles, and you can tell they belong to Apollo because they're calm and reasonable. You can tell I belong to Loki because I'm usually going crazy and running around in circles doing the same thing repeatedly. Because Lokeans sometimes have a very hard time learning the, basic lessons. I've noticed it. We learn it, we have it. 20 seconds later, Loki smiles at us, and we completely forget everything we learned because he can charm us that well. So, Connor the Heathen tax. That lasted really long. Apollo's just shaking his head. Odin set himself up as Apollo's rival. I don't know if there's this deep divine lesson going on, if the gods think they must act this way so that I feel love, or this is just I'm seeing them for a cracked and broken human filter. That's probably the best explanation, or it's just that they will sometimes be competitive. Odin can be very competitive. Odin can be he wants things for himself and secondarily for his people. I love Odin, but it's always going to be Odin first. I knew that. But with Apollo, Apollo is reason and Apollo is calm. Not they can't be passionate. But a lot of the problems I'd have with Apollo were actually Odin showing up and making sure to tilt the playing field in his favor, because if he can work against someone and get rid of them, he will. More resources for Odin. So I love Odin. I do. I still love him. I love him very much, but he's on my short list right now, and so is Loki. All the Norse gods are mysteriously very, very quiet, because I was like, I've had enough. If I have to go back with my tail between my legs and practically crawling to the Greek gods, but Apollo was like, stand up. I'm not, I wasn't actually physically. He was like, stand up. It's fine. You don't have to grovel. I'm not mad. You were just trying to do the right thing. I swear, I want to go to an island of atheists and live there for like a year and just not think about gods. I really do some days. They don't realize how lucky they are, which is why, I get why they're angry, but at the same time, I'm like, dude, your life must be so serene. No candles, no incense, no reading articles, no having to do all this stuff. You are so blessed by the gods. I think you're the gods' chosen people because they don't bother you. I think I got a smile back there. It may have been Hermes. He's like, so it's good to talk to all my gods again. Now, Odin will always push for an all-Norse household, so I'm sure you'll see in the days and years to come that I'll keep wavering. But it's because I love Odin, and I'll never stand up to him when he truly demands something, because Apollo and I discussed that, and I said, I will never stand up to him, because he said, you don't stand up to him. I said, I know. We can have arguments where I stand up to Odin, but in the end of the day, because I love him, and because I want to make him happy, he'll always get to march right over me and get his way in the end. I said, I'm never going to be any different, so I prayed to the gods, and I said, I need your strength to do the right thing, whatever the right thing actually is. And I was including all the gods, not just the Norse gods, so Odin couldn't tilt the table in his favor again. And I definitely got the idea, especially through music, that, be me, be Wiccan, be whatever label I want to put on myself. Go be me, talk to all the gods, learn stuff, go wherever I want. I don't have any borders unless I let certain gods start building borders around me, and then I'm stuck, and I'm crying out to the other gods, and usually they'll rescue you, but sometimes they will be very much like we say in Wicca. Goddess will give you enough rope to hang yourself with, and she will sometimes let you swing in the wind for a while before she decides to do anything, because you put yourself in that state. You let yourself get carried away, and sometimes it's all on you too. I had a choice. I could have told Odin no, but maybe I got tired of his campaign. Maybe I just figured that I should do it out of love. He can be very charming. Be very charming and very persuasive when he wants something. He could talk the birds out of the trees. He's that charming. He's very, very charming. He's the fox you would let guard the hen house because he would be so charming about it. And you'd come back and all the hens would be gone. You wouldn't even mind because he's just that good, because he's Odin. So I needed Apollo to rescue me. Apollo doesn't tend to speak fancy, flattering words to me. He tends to be actually rather blunt. But at least I know I can trust his judgment. I can trust what he says, as long as it's actually Apollo and it's not Odin. Now I'm going to need to figure out a way to make sure it's actually Apollo I'm talking to. All my gods are Odin. Send help. Okay, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.